Hi. Okay, we're back again. We've read most recently chapter 23. Everybody's gathered at the party. They're in Gloria Dump's, not their house anymore, not her house anymore. They went inside because a thunderstorm was coming, and they were all, kind of shaking themselves off, getting dried off, and Gertrude screeched, "Dog!" And it dawned on Winn Dixie, no, it dawned on Opal, oh my gosh, where is Winn Dixie? She said, I forgot to protect him. There's a thunderstorm, and I promised him I would protect him, that he has such a fear. And so she has gone out. The preacher is helping her. They're going to look for Winn Dixie. Remember, it is a downpour. It is really, really raining. She must just love that dog something much. Any of you that have ever had an animal, a pet that's gotten lost, even for just such a short time, or if they run from you and you're trying to catch them, it's very scary. They're your sweet pets and you want to take care of them. So very scary for Opal, especially she remembers how Winn Dixie behaved in the trailer. Remember back towards several chapters ago, how Winn Dixie behaved when there was a thunderstorm, running like a crazy dog in that trailer. Okay, so we are on chapter 24. Let's find out, have you made your predictions, like what you think is going to be happening? And of course, the pictures going on, your little film in your head. You're making your pictures happen in there for yourself. All right, chapter 24 is on page 161. Okay. Me and the preacher started walking and calling Winn Dixie's name. Oh, I was so glad it was raining so hard because it made it easy to cry. I cried and cried and cried, and the whole time I was calling for Winn Dixie. Oh, sorry, we don't have any new vocab words this time, sorry. "Winn Dixie!" I screamed. "Winn Dixie!" the preacher shouted, and then he whistled loud and long, but Winn Dixie didn't show up. Now, the preacher is I'm sure, equally as worried about Winn Dixie because he loves Winn Dixie a lot, too. We walked all through downtown. We walked past the Dewberry's house and the Herman W. Block Memorial Library and Sweetie Pie's Yellow House and Gertrude's Pets. We walked out to the Friendly Corners trailer park and looked underneath our trailer. We walked all the way out to the Open Arms Baptist Church in Naomi. We walked past the railroad tracks and right on down Highway 50. Cars were rushing past us and their taillights glowed red like mean eyes staring at us. "Daddy," I said, "Daddy, what if he got run over?" "Opal," the preacher said, "we can't worry about what might have happened. All we can do is keep looking." We walked and walked, and in my head I started on a list of 10 things that I knew about Winn Dixie. Things I could write on big old posters and put up around the neighborhood. Things that would help people look for him. Number 1 was that he had a pathological fear of thunderstorms. Number 2, now think about, what would you write about Winn Dixie? What 10 things would you write about Winn Dixie? Number 2 was he liked to smile using all his teeth. Number 3 was he could run fast. Number 4 was that he snored. Number 5 was that he could catch mice without squishing them to death. Number 6 was he liked to meet people. Number 7 was he liked to eat peanut butter. Number 8 was he couldn't stand to be left alone. Number 9 was he liked to sit on couches and sleep in beds. Number 10 was he didn't mind going to church. I kept on going over and over the list in my head. I memorized it the same way I had memorized the list of 10 things about my mama. I memorized it so if I didn't find him, I would have some part of him to hold on to. But at the same time, I thought of something I'd never thought of before, and that was that a list of things couldn't even begin to show somebody the real Winn Dixie, just like a list of 10 things could never get me to know my mama. And thinking about that made me cry even more. Me and the preacher looked for a long time, and finally he said we had to quit. "But Daddy," I said, "Winn Dixie's out there somewhere. We can't leave him." "Opal," the preacher said, "we have looked and looked, and there's only so much looking we can do." "I can't believe you're going to give up," I told him. "India Opal," the preacher said, rubbing his nose, "don't you argue with me." I stood and stared at him. The rain had let up some. It was mostly just a drizzle now. "It's time to head back," the preacher said. "No," I told him. "You go ahead and go, but I'm going to keep on looking." "Opal," the preacher said in a real soft voice, "it's time to give up." "You always give up," I shouted. "You're always pulling your head inside your stupid old turtle shell. I bet you didn't even go out looking for my mama when she left. I bet you just let her run off too." Ouch, that is really a hurtful thing to say to her dad. "Baby," the preacher said, "I couldn't stop her. I tried. Don't you think I wanted her to stay too? Don't you think I miss her every day?" He spread his arms out wide and then dropped them to his sides. "I tried," he said. "I tried." Then he did something I couldn't believe. He started to cry. The preacher was crying. His shoulders were moving up and down, and he was making snuffling noises. Excuse me. "And don't believe that losing Winn Dixie doesn't upset me as much as it does you," he said. "I love that dog. I love him too." "Daddy," I said. I went and wrapped my arms around his waist. He was crying so hard he was shaking. "It's all right," I told him. "It's okay." "Shh," I said to him like he was a scared little kid. "Everything will be okay." We stood there hugging and rocking back and forth, and after a while the preacher stopped shaking, and I still held on to him. And I finally got the nerve to ask the question I wanted to ask. "Do you think she's ever going to come back?" I whispered. "No," the preacher said. "No, I do not. I've hoped and prayed and dreamed about it for years, but I don't think she'll ever come back. Gloria says that you can't hold on to anything, that you can only love what you got while you got it." "She's right," the preacher said. "Gloria Dump is right." "I'm not ready to let Winn Dixie go," I said. I'd forgotten about him for a minute, what with thinking about my mama. "We'll keep looking," said the preacher. "The two of us will keep looking for him. But do you know what? I just realized something, India Opal. When I told you your mama took everything with her, I forgot one thing, one very important thing that she left behind." "What?" I asked. "You," he said. "Thank God your mama left me you." And he hugged me even tighter. "I'm glad I've got you too," I told him, and I meant it. I took a hold of his hand and we started walking back into town, calling and whistling for Winn Dixie the whole way. So, if you notice at the beginning of the chapter, it's kind of neat. Excuse me, because they went past all the places that Opal had been to throughout the story, like the Herman W. Block Memorial Library and the pet store and Sweetie Pie's house and the church and the trailer park. And they kind of went back through those places that we had been introduced to, almost like a little summary for us of the places that were in the book. And now it's kind of neat at the end too, because all the people are at Gloria Dump's house. So that, I think that's kind of cool how they wrap that up that way. So still looking for Winn Dixie. No luck. They can't find him. The rain has let up a little bit. I feel like Opal and the preacher, though, made a big breakthrough. You know, Opal had just, I think, been so angry inside that her mama was gone, and she kind of blamed the preacher for not having kept her mama from going. But like Gloria Dump, wise Gloria Dump said, you can't hold on to something that really wants to go. It's going to go. So they kind of came to an understanding with one another, which has been good. I think good for them, kind of therapeutic for them. So now the search still goes on, though, for Winn Dixie. So make your predictions. When we meet next, we'll be reading our last two chapters of the book, 25 and 26, finishing the book up, which, I hate that we're finished with it. And again, I just hope that you've been enjoying it. You're going to make your summary for chapter 24. Remember, tell Mom and Dad, I got this, Mom and Dad. I can do this, and I'm going to do it well, because I know that's what Miss Motif expects. So take your time, do a nice job, and I'll be getting that soon, okay? You all have a fabulous day. Be awesome kids. Be good for Mom and Dad or whoever's taking care of you. Be nice to brothers and sisters. Be helpful. Do something kind for somebody today, okay? All right, have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.